Welcome all gamers, achievement hunters, friends, and loyal fans to TBD Gaming, the video game broadcasting and review channel where we keep it real. I'm the Black Deesh, the jack of all games and master of none. Today I'll go over everything you need to know before playing the game SOMA. SOMA was released September 22nd, 2015 on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC for a price of $29.99. It was developed by Frictional Games and Blitworks and published by Frictional Games. It's rated M for mature for nudity, blood, strong language, and violence. It's around 20 gigabytes to download on any platform, and there are 10 achievements on Xbox for 1,000 gamer score. How Long to Beat has this rated around 11 hours. True to Achievement comes a little bit less than that at 6 to 8 hours for 1,388 True Achievement points as of the making of this video. It took me a little bit less than that even to complete this game. It only took me 4 hours and 47 minutes to complete this game. So a little bit less, but I was flying through it. I followed a guide and basically just ran through the entire game as fast as I possibly could. And that is a good one because SOMA is a first-person atmospheric horror game. You play as Simon Jarrett, a Bookshop employee from Toronto, Canada, who, after suffering a debilitating brain injury, undergoes experimental treatment. So basically, you in order to rehab this injury, you talk to your doctor. Your doctor, David, recommends an experimental brain scan. And after the scan, you wake up 100 years in the future in this strange underwater facility. And you basically have to navigate your way around unfamiliar creatures and piece together essentially what happened to the world in your absence. Really, really great story. I really enjoyed the narrative of this game. The game is carried by its story, in my opinion. The narrative is fantastic, had me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and the mystery aspect definitely had me wanting more. It definitely, there's like cliffhangers all over the place. You just are, it's kind of stressful because there's things after you all the time, et cetera, et cetera. I really also enjoyed the fact that the developers added a safe mode for this game. Basically, it just allows you to go through the game to enjoy the story and to not have to really worry about dying. This is a pretty difficult game if you don't have safe mode on, so I would recommend that. It definitely saved me a lot of time. I'm sure I would have had to reattempt a bunch of different sections in this game had I not had that on. So the atmosphere in this game is just incredible, though. The sound effects, the field of vision, the animations, it all did a fantastic job of putting the user in Simon's shoes. I would definitely recommend headphones for this game as well. It just kind of makes the experience a little bit better. Also something I really enjoyed, but I'm not sure if everyone will enjoy this or if, a lot of people will hate this or not, but it basically just, it's how close to the edge you were the entire game. It feels like when you're running from a monster that you've barely escaped when it hits the cutscene. It's kind of hard to explain, but it is really thrilling. It's a really thrilling and exhilarating experience to go through this one. Things I did not like. In time to get into a couple cons for SOMA. The mechanics are bad. Maybe that's just the fact that it was an indie game from about 8 years ago now, so it is kind of showing its age a little bit. But I also kind of just felt like it was an absolute chore interacting with some things sometimes. It seemed like the developers were trying to add some depth to simple interactions. For example, the controls are you have to grab something with your right hand with the right stick kind of a thing, and then use the left stick to open it, or vice versa, depending on what you're grabbing. And it kind of, I could see what they were trying to get at with this. It was very unique and definitely a new mechanic, but it just kind of ended up being clunky and rarely worked for me the first time. I had to attempt to open doors, several times, and that gets really stressful, especially when you're running from these creepy, scary monsters that are trying to kill you. Thankfully, like I said, I was in safe mode the whole game, so I didn't have to worry about dying, but it definitely, those clunky mechanics are definitely something that would get into the way of, a successful run through on a harder difficulty. Also, there was one part of the game that frustrated me to no end. In order to find the Omicron station, you have to follow a robot through this cloudy current at the bottom of the ocean. I found the robot and I started following it, but then I ended up losing the robot. And at the station that you're at, there was a little button that you could recall the robot in case you got lost or in case you couldn't find the robot anymore, except for it didn't work. So I went back to the station, I pressed the recall button 1,000 times, and the robot never came back. So I was just kind of SOL. I had to just kind of run through the dark current of waters on my own and just kind of trial and error it until I found the place that I needed to be at, which was kind of frustrating. But I mean, it only took like 20 or 30 attempts before I ended up getting where I needed to go. But I mean, I just don't understand why that button was there on the old station if it wasn't going to work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's a small thing, but it definitely took about, 45 minutes of my time just trying to get through that. So, quick analysis for Soma. Storyline is top notch. Gameplay is minimal. There's not really a ton going on here. It's a lot. It's a very heavy dialogue based game and a story based, atmospheric thing going on here. Mechanics are terrible. Graphics are okay. I really thought that this is actually a pretty good game when it comes to realistic graphics, especially for the time in which it was made. And I don't think it's a very difficult completion on safe mode. In fact, I would recommend it for 4 or 5 hour completion if you just want to kill this in a weekend. It's pretty easy. So, is the game worth the price? I don't think so. It might have been in 2015. I might have paid $30 for this just because I had lack of things to play back then. But the game is on Game Pass, so if you want to play it, if you have Game Pass, you can play it for free. Is the grind worth the gamer score? I would say so. It didn't take me too long, and I would say with a guide, this is a pretty easy completion. But I definitely would not play this game if it didn't have any achievements, just because horror games are not my thing. But TBD score for Soma is going to be 6.53 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe as always, and click on the bell if you'd like to see more content by me. It'll give you a little notification. Also, if you don't mind following me on Twitch, I stream over there regularly. It's a pretty good way to get in touch with me and or see some of the new content I'm putting out. So I appreciate the love and support as always, and I will see you next time. Thank you.